I've had some really interesting questions asked to me in my lifetime, but one of the more intriguing ones was when a lady approached me and said, you know, why should I be like Jesus now? Because when I die, according to 1 John chapter 3, when I see him, I will be like him. So why bother trying to be like him now when it's going to be taken care of then? That's a really great question. Now, there's a short list of important answers to that. Maybe one of them is that your friends are going to like you a lot better if you're like Jesus instead of being like yourself. And maybe another answer is you'll like life a lot better being like Jesus instead of being like yourself. But there's an important answer that comes out of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, where Paul warns us that at the end of our lives, we're going to give an account for everything we've done in the body. And he bases that on building our lives on the cornerstone of Jesus Christ. And he says, those who have built their lives on the cornerstone of Christ, and what he means by that, their lives have been defined by Jesus. They've become like him in their actions. That they will end up before him and go through the fire of his judgment with gold and silver and precious jewels in their hands that will survive the judgment, something left over to present to Jesus as an act of worship when we come into his presence. In contrast to those who have lived their own lives their own way, by their fallen instincts and haven't lived like Christ. And he says they will be like people who have wood, hay, and stubble. And in the fire of God's accountable judgment, that they will be left with nothing but ashes. Well, I think that's a pretty good reason to be like Christ. Actually, for me, I'd like to live for Jesus, to have those precious things that come out of my life, to have loved the poor, to have forgiven the offender, to have shown mercy, to care about the lost. I'd like to have those things at the end. The alternative to me is unthinkable, to simply end up standing before him in a heap of ashes.